This is Liverpool in the 18th century, a city of blood and riches, a city that grew wealthy faster than almost any other port in Britain.
Today you will see how the trade in human beings became a system here. Efficient, profitable, and official.
What specific decisions transformed a fishing port into the center of global commerce? And at what cost? In this video, I use modern artificial intelligence tools to bring historic paintings and engravings to life, allowing us to move through Liverpool as it was in its darkest and most profitable century. By the end, you'll understand why traces of this system still lie directly beneath your feet. Stand here with me, on the banks of the River Mersey. See those three-masted ships lining the docks. Where fishing boats once stood, slave ships now fill the waterfront. In just 50 years, Liverpool grew from 5,000 inhabitants to one of the wealthiest ports in the empire, through one scheme, which I'm eager to tell you about. Walk with me to where the Liverpool One shopping centre stands today. Beneath these shops and pavements lie the remains of Old Dock. It opened in 1715 and became one of the world's first commercial wet docks, a closed basin where ships could load and unload regardless of the tides. Whilst other ports waited for high water, Liverpool worked around the clock. The slave trade from Liverpool began even earlier, in the late 17th century. In 1699, the ship Liverpool Merchant sailed to the coast of Africa and returned with enslaved people. But it was Old Dock that turned this trade into a full-scale industry. Within just a few decades, Liverpool came to control 80% of British slave trade, and it all started right here, beneath your feet. An ordinary working morning looked and sounded exactly like this. The creak of ropes, the crash of barrels, the shouts of dockers. Work ran 12 to 14 hours. Accidents happened constantly. Ropes snapped, barrels fell. That ship is being loaded with guns, textiles, iron tools. It's bound for West Africa. Decades on end, the same route, from Liverpool to Africa, to exchange goods for enslaved people. Then, from Africa to the Caribbean. There they sold the enslaved, loaded sugar, tobacco, rum. And back from the Caribbean to Liverpool, unloaded the goods, made profit, repeated. This is how the triangular trade worked, and Liverpool sat at its center. If by 1760, Liverpool controlled 40% of British slave trade, by 1780, it was already 80%. By the end of the century, an event occurred that reveals the true attitude towards this trade. In 1781, aboard the slave ship Zong, owned by Liverpool merchants, a tragic incident took place. The crew threw more than 130 enslaved Africans overboard, claiming the ship had run out of drinking water. The owners attempted to claim insurance for the lost cargo, but the insurers refused, and the subsequent trials sparked enormous public controversy. This became one of the most infamous symbols of the merciless logic of the slave trade and strengthened the positions of the movement for its abolition. Now, we'll move away from the water and ships and look at the city from within. This is Liverpool Town Hall, completed in 1754. The building took several years to construct, and it served not only as an administrative centre, but also as a symbol of the city's rapidly growing wealth. Look at the columns, the dome, the statue of Minerva on top, goddess of commerce. If you stood here on a spring morning, you'd hear carriages on the cobblestones. You'd see merchants in silk coats entering these doors. They came here to make deals, discuss deliveries, and distribute profits. The money that built this town hall came directly from the slave trade.
But not everyone accepted this. William Roscoe, a Liverpool man, a banker, a poet.
He grew up watching these ships leave, and he stood against it. He wrote pamphlets, spoke at meetings, argued that no profit could justify slavery. Those around him called him a traitor. His business suffered. In 1807, when he stood in Parliament and voted to abolish the slave trade, he understood what he was doing. He was voting against his own city's wealth. The trade ended. Liverpool adapted, but the foundation had already been laid. You can still walk these streets, still trace the outline of Old Dock beneath your feet. Between 1700 and 1807, ships from Liverpool transported 1.5 million enslaved Africans across the Atlantic. The names of most of them are lost, but their story is part of Liverpool forever. Which city should I bring to life next? Write in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the past.